Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Will Downing. Oh man, brother Will Downing. The Warmth of You is the song that was playing. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. Good morning, everyone. Pray everything is well with all of you. And I hope that this finds you in a good place this Thanksgiving Eve, as I know many of you are prepping for tomorrow. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit as well. I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, author, educator, man of God. And I know it's been some time since I've been live, and I have been busy, but just, trying to figure out what it is that I want to do going into the end of the year and prepping for the new year. And I think the key word for me has been data, however you want to pronounce it. And what do you do with the data when you figure it out? What does that, how do you use the numbers connected to your business or just connected to your life? Numbers, your job, how much you make, your weight, how heavy you are, or how light you are, um, your relationship, how many years you've been together. That's all data, which requires you to do an assessment, especially if things are not where you want them to be. And that leads me to what I want to talk about this morning. I finished watching Will Smith's Best Shape of My Life. Shout out to my coach, Glenn P. Brooks Jr., for suggesting that we watch it. But before I get into that, let me say this. Shout out to Chef Danielle Moore, owner and operator of Ethel and Annie Mae's Soul Food. Um, she has been doing well, keeping her doors open, making sure that she supplies all the culinary things that people would love to have. So shout out to her. And Ethel and Annie Mae's Soul Food is on the corner of 497 Albany Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, in the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn. So I want to see my Queens and Brooklyn folks stand up and support. She's on Uber Eats and Grubhub. Now, if you're watching, you go, but Keith, I'm nowhere near you, New York. Why are you telling me this? Well, I'm glad that you asked. You can order certain dishes that she will vacuum seal and mail to you. You just have to reach out and she will let you know which of those items that she will prepare for you and send out to you, which she has. She sent oxtails, rice, and peas to Fresno, California. And I saw the video, I saw the picture, excuse me, and I know the person that got them and they enjoyed it. I have gotten her cakes in a jar. I got the red velvet cake and the carrot cake, and it was outstanding. So she does her thing. So just reach out. Ethel and Annie Mae's Soul Food Kitchen on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, it is Chef Danielle Moore. On Instagram, it's BK Chef Danielle. Okay, but just look up Ethel and Annie Mae's Soul Food Kitchen. It'll come up, and you'll be able to stop by the website, and everything, all the information will be there. So shout out to her. Also, I hope that you guys have seen the changes. I made changes to from Gigolo to Jesus. It is now from Gigolo to Jesus 10 steps to personal growth and spiritual transformation. I'm going to walk you through how to make personal and spiritual changes as I was able to do in my life. I am now going to start teaching how to do that in the lives of others. So the book will be the first step. The course will be the second. And then, if you are so inclined to join, there'll be a private group available where we can get together and continue the things that you will learn in the course, where we can have a place to support each other, have a place to be able to feel safe, and to be able to allow you to have successes and failures and not have to worry about judgment. So that is coming as well. And finally, excuse me, finally, MHM. What is MHM? Mental Health Ministries. You know that I create them. Well, I am continuing in this direction, looking to work with other churches to establish mental health ministries so people inside the church can get the mental health services that they need to be able to deal with the problems that they are going through. And the reason why that is important to me is because, one, you guys know that I am a man of faith, but more importantly, I know that people need help. And I know that part of that help comes in a financial way, and the church can provide that financial assistance. And so I'm bringing that to the table. So that covers everything. Now, let's get into this best shape of my life with Will Smith. I watched it. The title is deceiving. Because yes, that is you are watching him work to get back in shape, but he's only trying to lose 20 pounds. But that's, I guess, 20 pounds over a 20-week period. But he's also writing his autobiography, and he's showing you how the duality of trying to work out as well as trying to write a very difficult autobiography. Now, as somebody that has wrote his own autobiography, my memoir, which is called From Gigolo to Jesus, there's a lot in watching this that I understood. Now, I am not on Will Smith's level entertainment wise, but intellectually, I'll put my brain up against his any day of the week, only because we are the product of our experiences. And one of the things that I watched is that, and you need to pay attention to this if you're watching, Will gave you glimpses of behind the veil. He let you see the secret sauce. And that secret sauce is mixed with positivity and negativity. He also was able to show you what pushes him or why he pushes himself, which is why he's great. I'm not on that level. But he also shows you the things, the demons. And I so understand it. And many of you, if you watch it, you're going to realize, if you give yourself an opportunity to see, that his experiences as a child drove him. Now, for many of us, it does the same thing. But also on the other side of the coin, it also what creates the monsters in our own lives. Many of us have certain negativities because they were birthed and then poured into us from our parents. And when you see Will Smith discuss Daddy-O, which is his father, I hear the abuse. You can see the abuse. He's explaining what his father was, but to a degree, it's abuse. Because just because you're strong on somebody doesn't mean that it's not abusive. And just because they become successful doesn't mean that the abuse was acceptable. His mother said she left because she didn't want to paint a certain picture for her children. But I want you, if you watch it, pay attention when Will is sitting next to his mom. You see the little boy. You see the little boy, and he says, I wanted to protect my mom. He even talked about having feelings of wanting to throw his father down the steps. So for a therapist, it was a wonderful watch because there's a psychologist that's giving her narrative through this whole thing. But when you watch, if you really pay close attention, you can see how Will Smith's childhood fostered his adulthood, but it also is a demon that he carries with him. And I think the reason why he pushes himself is because he doesn't want to, and now he's getting counseling with the therapist because she says she's been working with Will for over a year. Now in his older years, he's addressing that. And I think for many of us, and the reason why I bring this to the table is many of us don't want to come to therapy when actually we should, because here's Will Smith with a psychologist and a personal trainer and a chef and everybody else. And that's what money allows you to have. But if you really look at it deeper, he needed assistance. And so many of us do. Many of us will not address what our parents did to us. Many of us, because we're somewhat successful, we won't go back and look at the damage that was done. I had to address my own sexual molestation, then becoming hypersexual, creating children and putting them in the same situation that I came from, and then watching them go through the same anger and hatred that I had for my father, they have for me. Now, I have made attempts to fix that, but I can't fix anyone who does not want to be fixed, and I cannot drag anyone to the table that does not want to come. So I have to allow my children who don't like me, they'll tell you that that's not the case. It is, and it's okay. I don't mind, because it's what they have to go through to find the love, if it'll ever be there. And if it is not, then that's just one of the things that I have to deal with. Because, and let me tell anybody that's watching this, especially the men. So please pay attention. Just because they're your children don't mean that they're going to love you. It's going to be based on what you do and what they felt. So yes, you may find yourself, and that's a wonderful thing, and I am a testament to finding yourself. That does not mean that your children will find themselves at the same pace or even have the same feeling, especially if you're anything like me and you went out and created children with multiple women. It is something that you have to deal with. Also, speaking of Will Smith, if you watch how his children react to him, here's the tip off that they're not used to. He said, it was when Willow was 9 that I realized I had to pay attention to emotion. Now, think about something. Willow was the youngest of the three. Willow was already 9 years old, a decade. Trey and Jaden were already there. So here's a man telling you that in all that time, I didn't address emotion. So what were those children getting? So when you watch them now, and they're going through, they're very talented, of course, because they have very talented parents. That's going to be a given in most cases. But when you go through the emotional changes that you've seen in the children, in the public sense, we don't know what it is in the private. Part of that is because we have a father that just says, I didn't even address emotion. And that's necessary to pay attention to. Many of us don't realize that the hangups that our children are going through is because of what we never addressed or what we chose to ignore. And if you haven't sat and watched this, you should, but please understand that Will Smith owns the filming company. So he's only going to allow you to see what he wants you to see, and that's okay. But to make it work and to sell his book, he had to let you in. But here's what I look at when I'm watching, and I watch a little bit different. I'm watching his body language. I'm watching the face. You can act all you want. The body is going to respond to the internal stimuli. He's a fantastic actor, which means he's been trained to give you all this. But his humor hides his pain. And the reason why I understand that, I know it. I lived that. I know what it is to always be in a constant state of joking because it helps you deal with the internal pain that you have, especially as a person of size. If you ever notice, most chubby folks, fluffy folks, or thicker folks, however you want to consider yourself, they're either super withdrawn or they're super extroverted, always laughing, always joking, life of the party, taking on all type of whatever. A lot of that is a cloak to hide the damage. And one of the things that I had to learn how to do was to stay me. And once I became me, I realized that as much as people enjoy the entertainment, that's it. Because once it's done, they don't care. And for a person of size, that is something that most people of size dread, is the being alone because they're already uncomfortable with themselves. That is the reason why when I talk to other people of size, I try to convince them that they have to take control and they have to accept that they became a person of size. No one forced you to eat. No one forced you to become big. Yes, you might have had some issues. Yes, you might have dealt with some things. Yes, you might have been molested, touched, and abused. I get it because I've been through it. But no one forces anyone to eat. Now, you have to deal with what causes you to want to eat, but no one forces you. And that is another reason why we have to sit down and allow ourselves to come to therapy, because you have to deal with what you're dealing with, and then how do you purge it and then replace it with something else. So if you have not watched Will Smith's The Best Shape, please do. I think it's an interesting watch into an interesting figure, but I think they left a whole lot out that they did not want us to see. And they gave us what they wanted us to see, but I saw enough to know that I hope he continues to get the help, because the interaction with the children was interesting to me. Will was crying harder than the children. A lot of it, I believe, is because of what he keeps inside, which is, of course, when you're writing a book, it's going to come out. When I wrote From Gigolo to Jesus, I cried heavily on chapter 3, which talks about the abortions and miscarriages that I was a part of. And the reason why I cried so heavily is that it dawned on me how destructive I had been to women that many of them I said I cared about, but I didn't, because I didn't know how to fully care. And when you push a woman emotionally into making a decision about her body, and then you find out that a handful of these women could no longer have children because they dealt with you, it's a real effed up place to be. And knowing that you can't do anything to change it, and knowing that now that you've changed your life, you can't go back and help fix any of that. All you can try to be is who you are now and pray that some of those women will forgive you. And if they don't, there's still nothing that you can do. I am friends, very good friends, with one of those women, and she has forgiven me and actually says to me that she's happy with who I became. And that just, it marvels me that she was able to forgive me and actually be able to befriend me in such a way. But nothing is shocking because I believe in faith. I'm a man of faith, but I wasn't always. And so I understand when you're creating a book like this, and he was reading his story to his children. So I know why he was emotional. But if you look at the children looking at each other, I believe, and again, this is on my professional opinion, I believe the reason why, if you see the way the kids were looking at each other and not trying to and trying to process, because they don't get to see their father in this light too often. Many of us men hide our emotions from our children. We don't want to look soft to our children. And that can be devastating when you do become emotional. And you will hear some people say, I never saw my father cry. And when they did, it really left a mark, sometimes positive, sometimes negative. And I don't know who needs to hear this morning. I don't know who's watching this, and this is touching home, but I hope that it does. So just watch it, and if you want to comment, please do. Or if you've seen it, please comment on wherever you're watching me at, or hit me up. Go watch it, come back and hit me up. I would love to have a conversation about it. Maybe even jump on a Zoom call and we can get a bunch of us to sit down and talk about it. So with that said, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. And I want to say this, and I want to say this in the most tactful way as I can. Please understand, tomorrow is not a holiday for many people. Tomorrow and Christmas are going to cause some people to feel in an ultra negative way. So please just understand that if a person wants to be distant, if a person doesn't want to come by, and if a person just doesn't want to be bothered, because with the umbrella of COVID hanging over us, so many people have lost so many people. So many people have had to deal with losses that they weren't prepared to deal with, but had no choice. I posted about it on my page. Shout out to Jelani Isaac, who's no longer here. His life was taken the day before Thanksgiving. Shout out to my man Tiger Saber Thomas and his lovely wife Adrian. Tiger was taken from us before Thanksgiving. And I'm gonna tell you something. I keep both of them in my heart because I love both of them. One was a former student and one was a great friend. I don't celebrate holidays anyway. That's just me. I don't get caught up in it. And I don't get caught up in thinking about the past too often. So I don't sit around and, oh my God, my mom ain't here. Oh my God, my grandmother's not here. Oh my God, my grandmother would have been this amount of years. And oh my God, this is the day that my mother passed. I don't do any of that. I put it behind me and I keep it moving because I know both of those women would have wanted me to push forward. And when it comes to Jelani and it comes to Tiger, it just kind of hit me today when I was thinking about it because I think about the people who are still here for them. I ain't thinking about me. I'm thinking about the people who his sister, who I taught 2 years later, was in my classroom. His mural was his memorial was on my wall, and I asked her, "Do you want me to take it down if you feel uncomfortable?" And she said, "No, Mr. B, because I know you really like my brother, so you can leave it there." I said, "Thank you." And I found it a blessing that when she came in, I let the kids, well, initially I let the kids sit wherever they want. She came in and sat right in front of that memorial. She sat right in front of where her brother's picture and the article was. And I said, "Do you want that seat? That's your permanent seat." And that stayed there all year. And these are subliminal things and I had no problem with that. I never seen her look up at it, never seen it, and we never had a conversation, but she took that seat. And with my brother Tiger, my brother and I shared many a conversation of business, life. Brother was pure intellect, great to talk to, and he didn't share that with everybody. Let me just say that right now. Many people knew who Tiger was. Not everybody got to talk to him like I did because he wasn't going to share that with you. We talked about the love of comics. We talked about Sabretooth. And if you don't know who Sabretooth is from the Marvel Comics, I can't help you. We talked about being fathers. We talked about finding love. And then I had found mine first. And then he was like, he joked with me. He said, "I got to find mine, big bro. I'm looking." And then when he found his wonderful queen, shout out to Adrian, he hit me and said, "I think I found mine." And she a model too. I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, bro." And the glow and the light that you could hear in his voice. And I remember one night, years back, before him and Adrian got together, I remember one night we were in Manhattan, and I forget where Tiff and I were coming from, and I had pulled up on the corner of 72nd Street and Broadway, and was about to run in and grab something to eat, and he was coming up the block, and I hear him yell out, telling me that he just came to take some pictures and doing some security stuff or whatever. Jumped in the car, he met Tiff, and we talked, came and ride all the way home, and oh, we just chopped it up. And every time we got together, we didn't talk for months and got together, we chopped it up. And when he found his queen, when I tell you he had spoke that into existence, he always would remind me that we spoke about becoming better men by being with better women and being in better situations. And we had accomplished that. And so to be without him is tough. And to be without him right before the holiday is tougher. So for me, what I do to honor him is to make sure that I pray over his wife, his family, and anything that his wife needs. If I can give it, I'm giving it because I know how he felt for her, and I know what God blessed him to be to her and to his family. And so I want to say this to anybody watching. Today is not going to feel the same way for every person. Please respect that. Please respect if a person does not get into the quote unquote holiday spirit because you don't know what they're carrying. You don't know what they're feeling. You don't know what memories they're embracing or fighting with. If you say, "Is everything okay?" and they go, "I'm fine," leave it alone. But to everyone else, If tomorrow's your day, if tomorrow's that day that the family gets together and y'all remind yourselves your family, and love it, embrace it. If tomorrow's your day, tomorrow's going to be a very low key day for us. We're not having anyone over. We're not going anywhere. It's just going to be us, Tiff, KL, and myself. And that's what it's going to be. And whatever your situation is tomorrow, enjoy. Be safe. Have fun. Stay in the moment. Don't worry about Black Fridays, Cyber Mondays, Small Business Saturday. Don't worry about any of that. Enjoy the moments with family, because I can tell you this, and I'll end with this. There are some people that would kill for what you're going to have tomorrow, because they can't ever have that with the person that they love. So please don't overlook that, because all of us at some point will be in the situation where we won't be here. And somebody will say, remember when? It's just maybe not our time now, but it will come. And I know that's hard for some people to think about. So again, I don't know who needed to hear this today. I want to wish you all a happy and safe Thanksgiving. To Adrian, you know I love you. You know I love the family. You know I love Tiger. To the Isaacs family, it's been some years now. I'm pretty sure it's been almost 20 something years. So I'm sure all your children are grown now. And I pray that they're doing well, all of them. And Jelani, shout out to you, bro. All right. So again, to everyone, watch the Will Smith. I guess it's not even I guess it's a documentary. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy the Will Smith anthology. I might. I mean, autobiography. I might. I think I got it. If it's on audiobook, I might buy it. But I'm thinking about it. But watch it and let me know what you think. I would love to hear what you think. And if anything, leave your comments. And if you're going through something and need to talk, reach out. I'm here. This is what I do. All right. I want you to have a wonderful holiday. Take care and God bless, guys.